Okay, this is take two because I accidentally pressed stop on take one and I don't want to have to do any editing. I am Danny Carnage. I make music and stuff. Um, this is the second video that I'm putting in as my CLOWNFEST 9 studio tour. I did put in one video before, but it was quite short. I kind of tried to make it amusing. We had a more jovial tone. But then we need to fill up a bit of time, so I said I would do a more in-depth one. Now, I started my YouTube channel as a thing when I was doing like DIY synths and homemade electronics, and what I used to do was just do these like 90-minute long, unstructured, unplanned, unscripted, rambling videos about electronics. So buckle up, motherfuckers, because that's where we are now. Like, I am not trapped in here with you. You are trapped in here with me. It's gonna be long. It's gonna be boring. It's gonna be dry. So, this is what you signed up for. There is no escape. I'm not doing any editing. It's out of focus now. This is what you get. What you get, right? You get what you get. So here we go. I'm gonna talk about my doorless rig. This is my streaming setup. I'm gonna try and make this educational and maybe entertaining, but I'm not gonna try too hard about that. So, got a quick guided tour of all of the other stuff. This is it. What you see here is basically it. TD3MO and a TD3, they're like, they're 303 clones. They do what 303 clones do. They make acid noises. They're fine. They're good. And the Behringer ones, it's fine. It's fine. They've done a good job. But there's not much to say about them because they do what they do. I did recently. The video interview that I did with Mark recently, which you should go and check out. If Mark's paying attention, he'll post the link to it in the chat right now. I'm just waiting for a second to give him a chance to do that. So yeah, and if he said anything about this and maybe laughed, I can't hear you, Mark. This is a video. It was pre-recorded. So you can say what you want actually, but I might come back later and sample it into a track. But what I said to him in that is that the TD3MO, he doesn't like the MO. Which is fair because like the TD3 basically sounds good no matter what you do with it. You just you put acid lines into it and it just sounds good. It has built-in distortion, which is perfectly usable, and it sounds good. The MO is the version that has like the mods, like the Devilfish mods, I think it is. And I also didn't like it as much at first. I was really excited when I first got it. But it basically, what the conclusion I've come to is that you have to work harder on this one to get your sounds out. I do really like it now, but the sweet spots are smaller. It doesn't hold your hand. This one you can set the controls to basically anywhere and it sounds fine. This one is far more based on you have to know what you're trying to achieve with it. Like it's got even just stuff like the cut-off resonance, envelope and decay and whatnot have a much wider range than on the vanilla one. So when you set it, you have to know what you want to achieve. Like I said, see now, I'm already repeating myself. I'm saying the same thing more than once. This is just the kind of video that this is going to be. So this is more of a you problem than a me problem. So back here, so that's the TD3s. We've got over here. We've got the Electron. I think they pronounce it Digitact. I still insist on calling it Digitact, and I hope that isn't problematic because it's not intended to be. The Electron Digitact. This is like the simplified description of what this is a sampling drum machine, but that is selling it a bit short. You got 8 audio channels and 8 MIDI channels. It's a really fairly comprehensively spec'd MIDI sequencer as well. This until very recently, until a few weeks ago, this is what I was using as like the main brain for this setup. and for all of the drums and for all of the MIDI programming. This is a great piece of kit. They call it an 8-voice digital drum computer and sampler, which is technically accurate, and that is the best kind of accurate to be. Polyend Tracker, I've only had this now like 2 or 3 weeks. I fucking love this thing. This is my favourite piece of kit at the minute. This is basically this is a sampler. If anyone disagrees with that description of this, then I will meet you in the car park where we can discuss this. But it's a sampler, but it uses a tracker interface. What a cacophony that was! Yeah, but yeah, it goes from top to bottom, and you can do sampling stuff. There's a sample there. Look. I'm gonna zoom. We're playing for time, so we're gonna zoom in on the sample. But no, this thing is cool. This I've been writing tracks on this just on its own with nothing else. Oh, cool. Whereas the Digitact, I really struggled to do that on there, but on this it can do a lot more. And I think these complement each other really well. So I'm using kind of both of them together as now the brain for everything. More on that in a bit. Hydrasynth desktop. So if I just give you a quick look over here, but not too long because I don't want to scare anyone too much. But this room is a mess, right? And it's kind of small as well. And over here I've got this stuff, which, you know, I don't have room for a Hydrasynth keyboard. I would love one, but I don't have room, so the desktop has to do. This is the only polysynth I've got in my rig. I believe it is eight voices of polyphony. This will do any kind of synth sound. It does wavetable. It does some kind of rudimentary FM stuff, though, but you know, usable FM stuff. What have I got on here? Kind of morphing pad thing. This is a great synth. I definitely don't use it enough to its fullest potential. I tend to use it for pad sounds. Like I've made some nice it's a fairly lush pattern. In fact, what did I call this pattern? Lush strings. And I like that it has a little waveform view when you play it. And also that you can change the pad modes and make it change the key and then set it like that, and so you can just like yeah, it's cool. I like it. So it's perfectly playable. It has polyphonic aftertouch. So if you have the keyboard version, it has polyphonic aftertouch, but this on the pads, it's also actually polyphonic aftertouch, which I really don't use these pads enough. I need to use them more. That is why, if people watch my videos, I used to have this in a rack over there, and I moved it down here because I just wasn't touching the pads enough. So now hopefully I will. But yeah, this is a great piece of kit. This right here is the Behringer 2600. It's a clone of the ARP 2600. It's essentially an analog monosynth, 3 oscillators, filter, a couple of envelopes, and a bunch of other utility stuff. Kind of semi-modular. It's technically paraphonic. You can play more than one note on it, but they share the envelopes, and the signal path, the filter, and everything is shared. But that sounds great. I suspect this isn't going to do anything good. Oh, it kind of did. There we go. Sounds brilliant, as you can hear just there. Yeah, I use that for a lot of. Use it for basses and leads and some kind of pad and effect sounds. It sounds real big. It sounds nice. Behringer Neutron. I really like this. I use this for a lot of basses. It's another analog monophonic, technically it's paraphonic, semi-modular synthesizer. And yeah, it's again, it's just good. It's just nice. It's just nice. It makes nice sounds. Can I make it make sound now? What if I do that? And it makes analog synth sounds. The Behringer stuff is Behringer synths. I think are really decent, really good value for money. I would not hesitate to recommend a Neutron to anyone wanting to get into maybe their first hardware synth or analog synthesis or semi-modular stuff. The 2600 I would also recommend, but it's a bit more expensive. The Neutron's fucking great. The 303 clones, either of them, I, again, would not hesitate to recommend. This mixer, don't buy this. Don't buy this. This is, what is this? This is an X1222 Xenix. It's a Behringer mixer. Do not buy this. I cannot stress enough how much you should not buy it. It's it has built-in effects, but which has a weird popping sound. The stuff like the aux sends, if you set the same to the same, like the aux to the same, the knob to the same point on more than one channel, it'll send different amounts of signal. Like it's nothing's right. It's all fucked. Oh, and then I discovered a thing that I'm using the tape out on it, but if you have it set up so that the meter, hang on, I need to put this camera back around. If you have it set up so that the meter is on, so you've actually got the master faders up, and therefore the meters are working. One of those LEDs, when it lights up, causes like a weird crackle in the tape out signal. Have you ever heard of anything as stupid as that? So yeah, the Behringer mixers, no, but the synths are all right. So yeah, so basically, yeah. So this is a oh god, nothing's happening. So I do that kind of stuff and other stuff. You've seen. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you've seen the stuff that I put in. Maybe you haven't. Like, I'm not the watch the URL police. So, in terms of how this is all like wired up, and in terms of like workflow and stuff, the way I'm working now is I write stuff on the tracker first. I take that away from here, like take it downstairs or sit in bed with it, and like sketch out ideas on there, and then I bring it back here. I've got I've got a controller keyboard over there. Look, right, the controller keyboard, the out from the controller keyboard comes into a MIDI through box that I have here, and from there, it goes to the in of the tracker, and it goes to the in of the and then it goes to this switch, the in of this switch. So that on the Digitact, oh god, I've got to press some buttons and get some stuff working. I can switch the switch over and then use my controller keyboard to control that. And then I can switch the switch back, and now it's being controlled by the tracker. So that means that if I find an empty track, if I use the MIDI channel 10 output, I can control the Digitact, and that includes sending program changes and sending MIDI CC numbers to the individual channels and to the effects on here. But so I can program that stuff in on the tracker and send it to the Digitact. So far I've only really experimented with program changes. So this last track that I put up on my YouTube channel yesterday has the tracker sending program changes to the Digitact so that the patterns on the Digitact change based on that, which is cool because the tracker has a song mode, so you can, with a little bit of thought and planning, you can set up the song mode on here, set up the patterns so that they send program changes to here. I'm then using, on here, I'm programming some drum parts. Let's just... Oh, and apparently a bass part. No, just a very basic kick drum. So I've used this for some drums, some miscellaneous samples and stuff, and I'm also using it to program to control my other synths. So what have we got? So that's playing... So that's controlling the neutron and the 2600. And so something that I've got set up here is this pattern on channel 9, which is controlling the neutron. I have the mod wheel set up on here. And then over here I've got the assign output patched into the frequency mod input. The assign output is set to mod wheel. So that means I can program some like cutoff changes. Which is pretty cool. This is the first track I've used that a little bit, but like I don't always do that. I want to do some more of that kind of stuff. And what have we got going on over here? I mean, I don't know what's happening with this, but I'm sure that sounded better than that, but maybe I'm mistaken. I'm gonna blame my tools like a good workman does. So yeah, the other thing that I've experimented with just as a proof of concept is like on the Digitact has like reverb and delay, and I can use the tracker to control the reverb and delay settings, which is something cool. And I can't remember, was it John Alchemy? Someone last night was saying that you can do a MIDI loopback trick to control some performance effects on here with this. But anyway, that's for another day. That's for the next long, rambling, unstructured video. So on here, this is just kind of... Oh no, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to do this. So just like, this is really good for like glitchy drums and stuff. So I've been doing a lot of that kind of thing on it. I don't really know what to tell you about this. You can look up videos on what this does, can't you? You're capable of that, right? You can look up videos on what this does. But I just, yeah, I've been using it for bits of drums. What else have we got? Apparently nothing on that channel. Is this even playing? So that, I sampled a super saw out of this and used it to make that pattern. I have no idea where that came from. Guess the sample source. So I think you can do, this is good for like, this does some, you can do some time stretching, easier pitch shifting, it works with loops better, it works with it does beat slicing, and it does a lot more complex programming, a lot more easily than the Digitact does. So together, it's all good. Oh man, I'm really losing track of what I need to talk about. Oh yeah, so then what I've got going on is out of the Digitact, the out and the through are merged with this MIDI merge box. So that basically means I now have the output of the Digitact and the tracker then going on to everything else, just daisy chained through the throughs. So I can control everything else with either this or this. just without having to change anything. I can just do it. So that's cool. I need to do experiment more. I think I want to do a track where I make changes to like the macros on here using this, and so it's fine. It's fine. I'll get to it. It's fine. As you can see, this whole thing's also a mess. I like to keep these little like decorations and things because this is my streaming kind of setup as well. I got that guy there. I got this. My mum made this for me. Look, that's nice, isn't it? It's, she crocheted it, and then she did this. This is a petrol horse crochet thing that my mum made. I got stuff from other bands that I got like when I've met them on tour or something. There's a Glitch Girl face mask. Glitch Girl's a cool like drum and bass and electronic music producer. You should go and check her out. There's a decoupaged horse there. I forgot a skateboard with a horse on it, presumably for a very small but the other person. There's a toilet there. And yeah, so the streaming side as well. So I've got this light, which is just an LED thing that we can change the colours on to make this absolutely unseeable. There we go, green will do. I think it does white as well. Let's see. There we go. Look, that's nice. Now we can actually see what's going on. So for the streaming, so the output from that mixer just goes into my sound card over there. I stream using OBS. I got a camera there that I use as like the face cam. I've got this arm here, which I put my phone on that, and I have an app called Droid Cam that allows you to use your phone as a webcam. I plug it in by USB to that giant monolith of a computer tower down there. And then I also have this DSLR with a wide angle lens. DSLRs in the UK and Europe, I go from the HDMI out. I've got an adapter that goes into my PC, but the video output shuts off after 20 minutes for tax reasons, so that they can say it's not a camcorder. But if you use an elastic band and a piece of rolled up paper to partially hold down the shutter button, then you can get around that limitation, and that is indeed what I do. So I got those three angles. I got just some scenes set up in OBS, and yeah, and that seems to work for me. So I can use my phone to show the detail on the actual device I'm currently working on, and I've got an overall view and a face cam so that you can all see my you can all see my beautiful face. There it is. Look, so I'm just going to simulate that now. So it's like that essentially. I think. How long has this been going for? Oh, that is not long enough. There must be something else I can ramble on about for a while. No, there simply is not. So I'm gonna. You know what I might do? Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave like 5 minutes now for questions. So if you ask me a question in the chat, and I'll answer it. So just type them in there.